And welcome back to our weekly Icarus Patchnotes updates discussion. I'm here with Carl, so I'm gonna quickly hop over to Discord. Hey my man, how you doing?
I'm doing perfectly fine now on a Friday, ready for some gameplay. So, first patch notes, obviously. And how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. It's Friday, so Patchnotes update
Very
and
nice.
Icarus gameplay. So
Indeed. We've got
let's
a mission to finish or possibly redo depending on the decision.
uh,
But first things first, the notes.
let's jump into it. So we're at week 179. We're getting some stone signs and some user interface improvements. We've added 3 new stone signs, giving you another style for your base. And we've also crash fixes and user interface improvements. So this week we're introducing a new addition to the Tier 2 Tech Tree, the stone signs. We're also sharing some insights into how our weekly patches come together, what we plan in advance, how we adapt based on priorities, and why the content in each update can shift from week to week. Finally, we're giving a quick look at what's coming next week, armor stands. A new feature that lets you display your armor around your base or use them as quick change stations.
Oh,
So swap out an entire armor set in one go, I would
that would be
expect.
actually quite useful.
Yeah, gonna make it way easier to, if you're like, okay, we're gonna go to the Arctic now, let's quickly
So switch
switch
over to
from
fur.
leather to fur, for example.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. Makes sense. And it also presents it in a cool aesthetic method. So if you find a good
Absolutely.
space spot for it, so because the armor looked nice, it's a shame it's hidden away in a closet most of the time.
Yeah.
So definitely a pro.
Yeah. And like Valheim, your armor stands, we're gonna have that in Icarus as well.
Yeah, we could definitely build some more in Valheim. That being said, so it could be
True.
something to add in decoratively.
Yeah, in several of my solo open worlds, I have like cupboards with armor
Armors,
sets, partial armor sets, which I collected from simple quests
missions,
like the ghillie suit and the Arctic suit, which I can't craft myself.
polar
At
bear
least
suit.
this
Yeah,
way I can put them all on stands,
yeah, true. And that it would look
and
cool.
yeah, it's
So
gonna
yeah,
look nice. But yeah, a couple of notable improvements this week. Fix an Unreal Engine crash that occurs when particle systems are cleaned up while active. Don't think I've had this one ever myself, but it's good that they are fixing crash sources, things that causes crash. So
mhm,
uh, this is an important one. Workshop items with missing ownership will now have their ownership set correctly when placed into an exotic delivery pod by the player who brought it down initially. So back in the day when everything was central, there was the owner information intrinsically in the armor in the workshop item, and everyone could bring it could bring it back up, and it would be automatically transferred to the correct player. When they changed to central storage, sorry, to local storage, this info was no longer on the workshop items. Now, if you bring down a workshop item and I send it back up, it basically disappears because it's not mine, and my PC does not know about your PC basically. So
yeah,
the stuff disappears. Now, in order to mitigate this, currently you see an owner tag on the workshop item for all items except the Enviro suits. They changed it a couple of weeks ago. Now you can bring down Enviro suits in a pod, and you can swap them planet side. But the Enviro
yes.
suits did not get this owner tag.
Okay. Mhm.
Now, this should fix the issue where Enviro suits with missing ownership would be deleted upon trying to return to space via the delivery pod. So even if you would send up your own Enviro suit, it would be deleted because it had no owner. Now the ownership will be set correctly when you place it in a delivery pod, and when that fails, so if another player does it, items placed in exotic drop pods that cannot be transported to space are now put into an overflow bag instead of being destroyed. So I reckon those Inferno suits will now be put in an overflow bag. And also, if you put any planet-side crafted items in the pod, normally if you send it up, it will disappear because it's no workshop item. It will now go into an overflow bag. So at least you don't lose it.
Yep.
Did an user interface readability pass on the mission objectives widget? It should now be more readable in the majority of lighting conditions, especially improved in the Arctic. Yellow on white isn't always the easiest to read after all. You know, on the left side, the quest steps info is in yellow.
Hmm.
It wasn't always that well readable, so they changed some things around there. We'll automatically see it when we get into our open world. We can see changes there.
Yep.
Also redid the Greek alphabet map icons as they were too thin to identify easily. So I don't know, maybe they'll appear bold now. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
Yep.
Well, not in current mission, but I never had much of an issue there personally. But then again, I'm playing on a nice big screen, so I can understand people who play on a smaller screen having issues properly reading those icons. This week, stone signs. This week we are adding a new sign option for lower texture tiers, the stone signs. These signs provide a more rugged and natural looking alternative to the existing wood and brick variants. They are designed to fit in with early to mid game building styles. The brick ones, you needed clay bricks, so you couldn't even use them on Olympus and Styx unless you bought the clay resource pack from the workshop, and then still it would be like tier 3 I believe. So now on tier 2 you get a stone variant as well. Now these stone signs can be crafted at the masonry bench, tier 2, using stone and iron nails, making them accessible without needing to progress too far into the tech tree. All you need is a stone furnace, an anvil and a masonry bench. Now they are an excellent option for players who want to organize their bases, label storage areas or mark outposts without jumping into higher tier materials. I mean, you could do the same with wooden signs already, but especially outdoors, I would say these stone signs are gonna look better. Now, 3 variants offer 3 different placement options. Floor mounted and wall mounted versions. You see the wall mounts, you see the small floor and the large floor. The small floor and the large floor are basically similar, from what I can see here, similar to the stone brick ones we got a couple of weeks ago. So they have both tall and angled designs. This gives you flexibility when placing signs on other types of terrain or integrating them into various building layouts. Now, as with all signs in Icarus, these new stone versions are fully customizable. You can edit them to display your own text or icons, making them a functional and aesthetic addition to your structures. We'll be placing a couple of those in subsequent gameplay.
Yep. They do
Ne
look nice though. The shading on them of the rough textured base does look pretty aesthetic. Plus the edges on the wall-mounted one does look rather nice. So
Nice rocket. So next week, weekly patches. Now we aim to release a patch every week. This is part of our ongoing support for Icarus, and allows us to deliver free, minor updates and improvements between larger content drops like expansions and DLCs. Not every week will have a big patch. Sometimes it's because a feature or fix isn't ready yet, or we're focused on bigger updates. Other times it's due to technical issues, like the source control outage in week 176 3 weeks ago, or sometimes it's holidays, or time spent setting up for sales and promotions. Still, they do give us an update every week, but sometimes it's a smaller one, yeah. Now we try to stay flexible. While we usually have the core weekly content ready a few weeks in advance, we often reshuffle things based on what's most important at the time. If a major fix is ready earlier than expected, or something breaks and needs quick attention, we'll adjust the schedule to ensure it goes out as soon as possible. One example for is the solo pause feature last week. We've been working on it for a while, and once it was ready, we moved the stone signs back a week so we could release it. I think the solo pause feature, alongside some other
Mm.
quality of life changes. Now this approach also helps with minor incidental updates. For instance, the Unreal Engine 4 crash fix and the mission objective widget readability improvements in this week's patch were not planned for this week's specifically, but they were done in time, so we included them now. Some weeks will be light, like this one. Others will have more content and major fixes, like last week. That's just the nature of steady development. And while we are still actively working on Icarus, including another expansion and ongoing work on the Great Hunt's Campaigns DLC. As long as people keep playing, we will keep updating. They repeat their promise. So there might be a time in theory where I would be like the only one still playing, for example, and they hear promise, they will still give updates.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what the current player base is actually for Icarus.
No idea.
I think Steam should track such metrics, but
Steam does actually, but
yeah, it does. I haven't looked at those numbers. I would definitely imagine things to be declining over time because people finish missions, and not everyone is of the mindset that they would like to expand and carry on and building just
true.
because they wish to do so. There's obviously a lot of other games and things to do and play and content to experience out there. So hence, usually you have influxes with new DLCs or expansions, and then
Exactly.
obviously tapering off when people complete the content.
I expect when
So
Great Hunts gets released that there will be that the player numbers will go up again.
yeah, it just really depends on how well it's received in regards to
True.
the content. And
True.
like I said, the overall things have improved significantly. This isn't a AAA title. Obviously, this is a smaller indie studio that sort of has produced a really great product.
Yep.
But obviously, you need a client base to actually, you know, to make money. And the
Yeah.
game itself has a mostly positive rating with, about 38,000 reviews, which is good, and the price is reasonable. There is a talent tree, there's obviously exploration, there's obviously taming and mounts and etc. etc. So it just really depends on your customer base, which audience you capture, and that's it. And also timing wise, because if there is obviously competition in regards to other larger titles with perhaps a larger fan base behind it releasing at the
True.
same time, positioning and timing is also quite crucial in a marketing perspective. But
Yeah.
either
Like
way,
Icarus is a survival game basically,
yeah.
so
But like if the
you need
forest,
to like
yeah,
survival games, but
no, of course, but obviously in comparison, like if the forest or if Ark or if insert 20 different games here, have large title or large expansions releasing in a similar time span, then obviously that's, causes, competition in that specific
True,
genre.
true.
And, that's it. But either way, we can still enjoy the game ourselves, so
Oh,
stay
and
on
trust
then.
me, I am. Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, I was going through some Reddit posts and I did find one of the guys who I expected to have more hours played than me. Indeed, has like 200 hours more, so 3.2k. So yeah, I think I'm in the like amongst the top playtime in this game. Just side note.
Yep, yep.
Next week, armor stand. Next week we're introducing the new armor stand that lets you display your armor sets or use them as a quick equip station. It's a handy quality of life addition we have enjoyed using during internal testing. Whether you organize your base or want to swap gear quickly between missions, the armor stand makes it easier to manage your loadouts and keep things tidy. Totally agree. Uh, it also means I'm gonna craft more armor sets. I'm gonna craft like one of each armor set in all my bases, and then put a whole row of armor stands with all the armors there, just for fun. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no, it's a good idea.
Now your support makes these updates possible. Uh, so if you wanna get Icarus, uh, you can either go for the dynamic bundle, complete the set, which basically looks at what do you have already, and I'm only gonna add what you don't have yet, DLC wise, and or base game wise if you don't have the base game yet. Easiest way to get everything, including the outposts. Uh, or you go for the separate DLCs or the Icarus Pets bundle, for example, which includes the creature comfort pack with extra saddles, food and water troughs. You go for you get the pet companions pack, sorry, which includes like extra dogs and cats variants and the actual horsey. And it also includes the Zebra rescue mission, the only way to get the Zebra as a mount. DLCs,
Yep.
by the way, is where they make their main income from. Uh, there's a couple of nice options. I mean, the outposts are basically Icarus Light, smaller map, resource respawn, but also less severe weather events, easier predators like less predators and lower level predators, so it's easier for building and for people who just wanna play in a sandbox without worrying too much about the environment. And the DLCs, obviously, like the New Frontiers expansion, Prometheus map, the one we are currently playing, Styx DLC, extra map. Yeah, nice stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, new content, basically stone signs. That's the new content. If we have a look at the fixes. Hammerhead slug icon, they talked about this last week as well. Fixed replication bug where clients saw both world boss spawner icon and boss icon at the same time. Apparently they still have been working on this a bit. Fix the Unreal 4 engine crash. We talked about this quickly before. Uh, Cleaned up skinning on base in swamp quads, as well as added updated textures for the carcass. Also added new bonus exclamation textures for the creature, as previously did not have them. I'm not sure what animal we're talking about here, but doesn't really
Yeah.
state it proper, but okay.
Yeah.
Change compression settings, normal map from default to normal map for platinum weave curtains. Added Dale's updated mesh and textures to fix normal map issues. Thank you, Dale.
No.
Fix the bug where putting heated canteen into water purifier would keep the cooling buff instead of turning it into warming. Yes. The heated canteen is the workshop canteen.
Hmm.
If you added it in the tier 3 or the tier 4 water bench, it did not give you warm water, so the warming buff, nice in the Arctic. Instead, it gave you the normal cold water, useful in desert volcanic, but it's a heated canteen, so the whole point was give me like a heating buff. It did work if you add it straight into a stream or from the tier 1 water purifier or the tier 2 rain collectors or the tier 2 purifier.
Hmm.
But tier 3 and 4 water benches, no, you got the cold water instead of the warm water. Glad I fixed this.
It would be great if things did what you expected to do.
Now they will do again. It used to work, and then for quite a long time it was broken, and now finally it works again. Good. Uh, Added new bloodied textures for the bear cub bones to replace the clean bones. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you were skinning
makes
a
sense.
bear
Yeah.
cub, it had like the clean bones.
Well, yes, I would say that's not really accurate. You would presume something is a bit bloody when you've just literally skinned it a couple of seconds ago. So,
Exactly. They changed it, so now they should have bloodied bones. And according to the pictures I've seen in the experimental branch, yes, it does.
good.
Added proper texture for lava blueback bones, redback.
Yeah. But blueback, I could recall, can't recall if it was also like, yeah,
Hey,
but either way.
it's the blueback in the grasslands, and in the
Yeah,
volcanic you
the
had
it's the
the redback.
redback. Now, of course, that's correct. So one would assume that the lava would be the redback, not the
Ah,
blueback. True, true, true.
yeah.
Um,
Um, Skipping couple. Fix half pitches swapping direction when upgrade to or from stone bricks. I do remember back in the day, long time ago, where they had the same issue on stone triangle pieces. They were basically they swapped the left and the right variant.
hmm.
So when you upgraded from wood to stone, you had to like take out the left angled wooden one, and because it got upgraded to a right angled stone one, and vice versa. And at some point when they fixed it, I came back to a base I hadn't visited in a while, and all those angled pieces were now all of a sudden the wrong way around. And I had to like
Yep.
pick them up and place them back proper. Apparently, there was a similar issue with stone brick half pitches, which has now been fixed. Do keep in mind if you have bases where you actually used stone brick half pitches, go check them out and place the proper ones. Fixed being unable to upgrade wooden half pitches by removing a very old unused version of that buildable. So basically the database had like two variants of it, two versions of it.
Could have been, but realistically, I'm hoping that that doesn't have any impact to the existing structures in the sense that they're not like suddenly when you're loading in that they suddenly disappear or anything like that, because that could lead to quite a few people's benches falling off of half-wood pieces, for example. So, because people
Well,
don't upgrade the wood pieces to like stone pieces internally, it's like oh it's standing there so it's fine.
so
So it
they
depends on
did
what stage.
re-add the old wood half pieces as the removal broke old missions. But moved again after craftable version, so upgrading should still work. So there's your answer to that. Okay, research Kiwi mission. Increase the time between additional wolf spawns at a Sigma map location. Does not affect the wolves that come from the dens. But The ones that were like spawning in the wild. Uh, Probably as an attempt to prevent people from getting overrun. But
Could
then
be.
again, come on, it should be a challenge, right?
True, true.
I do remember last time I had the Kiwi mission there, I had my buffalo with me. And the thing has a massive health pool. But I'm telling you, it was a good thing I had the health elixirs with me, which I could use on the buffalo. Because he was always in the middle of the fight. And he took a massive beating.
It'll be a good idea not to take any
He's,
companions
well,
or
he
mounts with
survived
that
and
with
he
you.
did help me out.
I mean, they do attack, right? It's
Yeah.
self-defense. Buffalo, I don't know how much damage they do, but I presume a
It
little
depends
bit.
on the talents as well. There is a
Of
talent
course.
for having him cause blunt trauma, for example,
Yeah.
and other types of
Stunning, for
damage.
example. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but it was a good thing I had a buffalo with me. I'm not sure I would have managed to kill enough incoming wildlife without him to keep the kiwi nests safe. But yeah, even my buffalo with a massive health pool almost didn't survive.
Well, I assume if you had like the Arctic wolves with the
Oh yeah, with
talent where
frost.
they with the frost, but also mostly with the the regain health on kill,
Oh,
that they would obviously perhaps be better suited because it's only wolves. Wolves can get killed pretty quickly by your own wolf, so
true.
depending on the level. But
So
yeah,
maybe yeah. Bij zijn Styx mission, I believe, the kiwi.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe next time I play Styx,
Yep,
I'll go try out a couple of those guys to bring with.
yep, yep, yep. So
Updated wolf and hyena dance tooltips and related quest objectives to tell players to destroy them with a pickaxe. So the only way to actually now destroy those dens is with a pickaxe.
I don't even know you could destroy them realistically. I mean, that makes some
Some
sense.
of
So
them, there are missions, for example, the very bugged Genesis mission where you get Snuggles, the Dribbo.
mhm.
You have to destroy a couple of dens. Also, the research Kiwi. You have to destroy a couple of wolf dens. Um, Now you usually
Well,
also. Hmm?
if it's a mission that tells you to destroy it, then great. But I'm thinking
Yeah,
about the,
the black wolf ones you
the
cannot
Black
destroy.
Wolf. Yeah,
No,
that was the thing that I was thinking about
no,
because
you
it's like,
can't
oh,
destroy.
rather than having him go back to his den to heal up, you can just take a pickaxe and destroy it. One of you can
Nope,
destroy it. So that would make sense. But
that ain't gonna work.
being
But there are a couple of missions where you actually have to destroy those dens. Now you used to be able to like shoot it with a gun to destroy it, for example. And as you can see, they halve the default health of the spawner dens. Now that firearms can no longer be used. You can't use guns no more. You have to do it with pickaxes now.
okay,
So they did add the tool in the tooltip like, hey, destroy with a pickaxe. I did
got
with the
it.
pickaxe already anyway. I'm pretty melee focused player. So yeah.
True, true.
Just a normal strength for surfaces where the text switches is located for better readability on the stone and concrete. Concrete? Signs? Do we have concrete signs?
No, they said stone. Concrete might is a variant of stone of some sort, I believe, but
No. You have the
unless
stone, you
they
have the stone brick. As
no, I
far as I know,
know.
there is no concrete.
Oh, concrete is made out of certain pieces of stone,
True.
so
But as
that's
far
what
as I know,
concrete
there is
is.
no concrete
But
signs.
that's correct. I
Maybe
mean,
this is a sneak preview into future content.
wouldn't make sense that they would sort of trinkle it out to that extent.
They did it
But you
with the
never know.
stone bricks and the stone.
Could be. I mean, look, I'm not arguing. I mean, it's just I prefer the aesthetic of stone versus concrete because concrete is just square, flat, and blocky. It's like not
True.
really aesthetically appealing, in my opinion. So it could have been an idea, but moving on, yeah, it's there. It's mentioned. It could be a typo. It could mean something future, but we don't know.
So the added old wood half pieces, already talked about that one. Now,
Mhm.
when reloading building pieces, prior damage to those building pieces is now applied asynchronously instead of all in one frame. This should hopefully fix some hitches people were having when reloading prospects with many broken building pieces.
Makes
Hitches
sense.
to the extent where you were staring at the screen for like 10 minutes, yet like one frame 10 minutes long, one
Wow.
single frame, because it was doing all the damage calculations in the background.
If you had a
We are
big
talking,
base with a
yeah,
lot of damage, then I
exactly,
presume that would have an impact. So definitely a good fix.
exactly. We're talking about exceptions here.
Yeah, somebody that intentionally went about seeing that the calculation gets done in a single frame and seeing how far it could be pushed, and then showing, hey, why do I have to wait 10 minutes for my thing to actually start playing?
Also,
So,
people who do not know or do not realize that those massive building projects are generating lag, and then they start complaining about performance issues, and then they have like 10k building pieces in one very small area, for example.
yeah,
Yeah, and then if you don't build out of concrete, you build a weaker material, and you get storm damage, yeah, you're gonna notice that for sure. But yeah, let's see. Fix a recent change that was loading all buildings in a destroyed state. Oops. I'm glad I fixed that. I don't want to load in my prospect and then find my entire base being destroyed.
yeah, not productive.
Yeah. Fix an issue where the environs hood worn by players when selecting their initial drop loadout were not initialized correctly, meaning they could not be returned back to space via a drop pod. Earlier we
Yep,
were
more
talking
bugs.
about the
Yep,
missing owner tag. This
yep,
this.
true. But it's, bugs due to new features, obviously, so it's
Yep.
expected.
Increase basic wood sign normal resolution to 1K and reduce normal intensity for readability. I have to say, with after they changed the icons to be like more the matte version and not like the lighting up in the dark version, sometimes it is pretty hard to see the difference between, for example, stone and silica, gold and silver. I hope this will improve it a little bit again.
Well, yeah, we shall see.
Update sign widget positions to be closer to the mesh so the text doesn't float. Yeah, it's a wooden sign, it isn't a holographic projector.
Well, it would be pretty cool if you could turn it into a holographic projector.
True, but wooden sign versus holographic projector. Eh, sure, give us a holographic projector, but make it a tier 5 item.
Yeah, true. Though, true. That would
Eh,
maybe make it really like fancy.
oh yeah, very futuristic base. It would be
Yep,
fun.
pretty much. Yeah, like advanced machining benches everywhere, etc., etc. So,
Fix a cleanup of the potshot operation. I don't think I have ever had an issue with. But then again, look, the area where potshot operation wasn't close to base, so I didn't really visit that area much afterwards. So. Added more asynchronous optimizations to building destruction to reduce the impact of loading in partially damaged or destroyed buildings.
already mentioned.
Those building destruction effects are now limited to 20 operations per frame. So no longer everything in one frame, but a max of 20 per frame.
It still probably will consume quite a significant amount of resources and computational power as it's
True,
actually processing all those things. So it's probably best to repair per said items.
true.
But
But at least it won't try and do it all in one frame,
no,
having you sit
correct,
like 10 minutes
correct.
staring at the screen like nothing is
No,
happening.
correct. No, correct. I'm not saying that that is something that You know, it is an improvement step, but obviously, if you're going to be imbecilic about certain things, then there will be consequences.
What? Absolutely. As that should.
True.
Buildings will no longer play destruction audio or particle effects for a dedicated server or when in an unloaded tile. Good, good. Especially the for dedicated server part, because I'm always playing on a dedicated server.
Pretty much. Any optimizations or improvements that you can get is definitely welcome.
Absolutely. I was thinking, I remember this multiplayer Prometheus open world where if you went to the swamp, where it was this very laggy part where you were traveling
That's right
towards
next
the
to the.
swamp,
That's
next
right
to the
next
river.
to the river. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
that was actually from loading in the base, and since that's the base, I like built 50 stories down into the ground, 50 plus.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Uh, you can imagine how much it had to load in was. So that was
Well, yeah,
the
true.
the cause of the lag there. Eh, as long
Well,
as I
I
know
mean,
what is causing it, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I
true.
can live with it. Anyway, cleaning up lots of audio files that played too many times, reducing some spatializers of deployables to account for buildings with lots of deployables making excessive constant noise.
Makes sense as well. I mean, if you have a lot of machinery, fabricators, working benches, all these types of things,
Yeah, but then
it
again,
would make.
if you have a generator room with 20 running generators, don't expect to go in there and it being completely silent.
No,
Of
true,
course it's gonna make noise.
but you would be able to be like, hey, let's, not generate audio out of all of them. You walked into a room where there's a fair amount of them, so perhaps also, if there's a large, there's probably calculations you could do about the proximity of placements of machine benches and then reducing the audio distance or generation based upon certain calculations of like you could affect the fact that this one because it's standing next to three within 3 meters that the middle one and the that all three would like the middle one would generate no audio for example
Yep,
or would generate audio that would only be audible at 20 centimeters from your face kind of
yeah,
thing so if you're going to complain about it, then sure thing. But it would be in the essence of trying to optimize and
true,
reduce,
true. For
you
optimization
know.
purposes, definitely.
But also, yeah, if you're generating audio from 100 devices, that takes computation of a certain extent, and also rendering, etc.,
Oh
etc., and
yeah,
also the absolute sheer anarchy of the noise. So yeah,
yeah. For
drop it down a bit.
immersion purposes, play it all. But definitely
Eh,
for from a performance standpoint, don't play them
I
all.
wouldn't say Icarus is realistic in any sense or means, but yeah, it's immersion in the sense that you would still hear the generator quite a bit, so it would drown out the noises of others. That's also something you could also compute. It's like, oh, generators are pretty damn noisy things, so you could maybe put in like a decibel meter, like calculation saying that the
Yeah.
audio generated from a generator is
Well,
100
yeah.
and the audio generated from a wood crafting station is 10. So based upon that, if you put the two next to each other, you're just constantly going to hear the generator. That's all you're going to hear is the freaking generator because there's a generator in front of your freaking face. So that's it, which means that's going to be irritating first of all because people perhaps put their generators in their main base,
Well, they did
and you can go
limit
from there. But yeah,
the number of channels that can play at once for various channel of audio events.
well, you know,
Also, reduce the amount of turbines that can be playing at once audio
that's
and
also true
setting to
because your whole
virtualize
roof
to
is just
stop
covered with
excess
solar
audio
wind
spam.
thingies. They probably make noise still, don't they?
Yeah, not a whole lot though, the wind turbines. A little bit, but barely noticeable.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Add missing PM to other chicken coop to play the correct footstep sounds. So don't let it sound as dirt, let it sound as wood.
Oh, in the coop, yeah, that makes
In the
sense.
coop or on top of the coop or whatever. Fix old stoves that cannot be constructed anymore. but may still exist on old prospects. They're still listed in a field guide. Basically, there is this, and this is actually in the last storyline mission on Prometheus before going to the null sector. There is going to be a base with the old electric furnaces in, the little cubes.
Okay.
They still work, by the way. You can pick them up, you can put them in your base. They're smaller,
Yeah,
smaller
I
footprint.
mean,
They still
it's
work. You can't craft them anymore, but
true, true.
doing this mission actually gives you two of them.
No, but I mean that's eventually they'll probably update the model, but then for example, like I explained previously, where if you had an item which was in the game quite some time ago, it becomes a collector-based item, which is unique because you played
Yep,
the game 8 years ago,
yep.
and certain games such as EVE Online that I have, where I have certain loadouts fitted to ships due to bugs or the way it used to be are quite rare and exotic in the sense that they're collectible items because they're not the
Uh,
normal. For the
but
past 6 years, they weren't able to be equipped in the fashion that these are equipped. So the game developers did not force unequip the items. They could have, but they
well,
basically
I have a couple of
it's
very old prospects with very old benches in still. Like
yeah.
sometimes they update the mesh of the current bench,
Mm,
but now for these electric furnaces they increase the footprint. So if you
true,
had a
true,
couple
true,
of
true.
them right next to one another and they update the mesh of the current ones,
Oh, they would overlap. Yeah.
exactly. So at least for those, they did not change the mesh. They did for other benches though, but not for this one. And apparently also old stoves, which I don't recall whether or not they at some point got a new mesh, or maybe it's some old name or something. I don't know anymore. I do know about the electric furnaces because a couple of months ago I came across those when playing the Prometheus open world. Anyway, meta items with missing ownership will now have their ownership set correctly, etc. We've talked about this one before. Items placed in exotic drop pods that can't be taken up to space and are put in an overflow bag instead of being destroyed. Talked about that. Correcting chicken coop, not having the correct PM set on the roof collection boxes, causing the audio to sound like walking on dirt instead of wood, which would seriously affect the player's immersion, causing mass panic. 1. Who's deliberately gonna walk around on the roof of a chicken coop? So, okay, I can understand where, hey, it sounds like dirt instead of wood. It's kind of breaking immersion, but then again, causing mass panic? Eh.
Sarcasm, obviously, but
Okay, sorry, I'm not too good with sarcasm. Okay, sure. Anyway, they have to fix it. No, now they sound like wood. Okay, let's see. Future content. Um,
so skipping. Yeah, we're probably going to just browse through it as
Sandworm
usual.
crossbow. Yeah. Fix replication bug with movement slow on reload.
Oh, interesting. So the added composites, concrete, iron, and and iron sign icons. So there is concrete mentioned again. So it could be that that will be in a
Yeah.
future
And composite
patch.
as well.
Exactly, and iron.
Iron. Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah, so that's definitely one
Or,
thing.
or is
Mm.
this like the icon on the sign? Then again,
Oh
they
yeah,
wouldn't need
sign
to add
icons.
it because they were in there already. I know for a fact that cement mix,
Sign.
concrete mix, was there already. There's iron ore and iron ingots as icons. There is composite as icons on the signs already.
Sign.
It does state
Oh, I
sign
see what you mean.
icons.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the sign icons. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, makes sense. Not
So
the signs, but actual the icons placed on the signs. Got it. Yeah, I forgot that that's a thing in game.
Replace the Greek alphabet map icons. Is mentioned in future content, but was mentioned as like the quality of life
Uh,
update for this week.
Updated measures for composite signs.
Yeah, that does sound indeed like new sign type.
Mm.
So yeah, maybe we do get iron and concrete and composite signs.
And then
And then those
LOD DF
icons
widget
might be actually
placement.
like in the tech tree or in the crafting bench,
That
the
was
bench where you
my
craft them.
immediate. That was my immediate
Yeah,
assumption.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was my immediate
Indeed.
assumption. And
Yeah,
then LOD and DF widget placements and collision fixes for new sign assets. So even
yeah.
more new sign assets coming down the line, which yet again sort of reemphasizes that fact.
Oh, that line is actually twice in the patch notes.
That probably would be.
Yeah,
And
with
they fixed
there are
them.
two bullet points in between.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
reading H1, but the
yeah.
Golem gauntlets were dealing too much hammer fist damage. So due to double scaling stats or something similar, so
Yeah,
there's still way more tuning on the legendary and
the legendary weapons. Yep.
cool, yeah, which is good. Um,
Delete old obsolete stove material and textures. Not approximation of their own sets. Well, that was in the here in the fixes already as well.
mhm. And I see
Okay.
something on a tweaked LED screen size on silo mesh. Now, I'm not sure what that's. A silo to me is like a farm silo where it stores
Um,
grain and these types of things. And I recall, there being a barn and barn doors and all these kinds of things.
yeah, and there
So
is,
I'm not
if you
sure if.
look in the item guide, there is an item called Silo. Either that or it is in the files, but it's not in the
Mhm.
game yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm thinking that, they're sort of going again towards the farming thing because they brought in the plows and they brought in,
Huh.
the windmill and all these things. So, older school like
Hey,
things and
you
building a
know how much
silo.
wheat you get from harvesting wheat,
Yeah,
and you know
yeah.
how quickly you fill
Chuck
up your storage
it in
with
the
wheat.
silo.
So
Yeah,
give me a silo for that
yeah,
any time of the
yeah.
week,
True, true,
any
true.
day of the week.
Mm.
Okay. Um, Snow Slug and Icy Mammoth now both have a small amount of armor and have
Snow
a chance
slug.
to freeze with attacks. Remove
Snow
stats
slug.
from the Snow Slug epic creature and move them into the base creature. Snow
Snow
Slug,
slug.
yeah, this is I think the Ice Mammoth Great Hunt mission. In earlier patch notes, they were talking about the Snow Slug at
Is
some
that I
point as
can't
well. Yeah,
recall. That's why I said it multiple times. It's the first time I've actually heard of a snow slug. But
well, you see the Icy Mammoth. This is something
yeah,
we talked about a couple of weeks ago as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Icy
yeah.
Mammoth,
We saw him. It's
the Ice Mammoth, Icy Mammoth, and like
yeah,
different
true, true,
names.
true.
But yeah,
But the ice mammoth summons the Arctic vespers, not snow slugs. So there's a very
well,
big difference
it
between a
has to do
slug and a
with
bat.
the. It does have to do with the Great Hunt's mission for the Ice Mammoth, I believe,
Yeah,
from what
yeah,
I've read so far.
that's fine.
So small adjustments to in-world
Yeah,
creature health bars to match
yeah.
epic creature health bars. Okay. Well, as long as they fix the Black Wolf health bar, cause they don't. They like sometimes they do,
Hmm.
sometimes they don't.
Well, they had the health bar issue on the sandworms and all these things as
Yeah,
well.
the
So I
Sandworm
mean, it
they
just
had a
happened
health
a
bar,
long time.
but there was no info in the health bar.
Yeah.
The Black Wolf, if you fight him as a world boss, does not have a health bar at all. Not even on
Hmm.
top of the screen, or it didn't used to have. Uh, I fought one earlier this week, I believe, in Olympus. I'm not sure whether it was for it was for the mission, the one where had to kill it at night, and
Hmm.
that one actually
Oh, that
did
one.
have a health bar.
Oh, okay, good. Because at night that thing was I still think that was probably like one of the original hardest missions to kill that thing at night, basically.
It was fun
The,
though.
the that was fun, but definitely the harder mission that we played back in the day. And
True.
world spawn ice mammoths are now aggressive by default. So I think
Ooh,
by
yeah.
default mammoths are obviously docile or passive. So
Uh,
this one being
yeah.
specifically aggressive does make more. Well,
Like the normal between quote mammoths, they are not
Yeah,
aggressive. You
no,
can walk
exactly.
in
That's my
front of
point.
them and
Yeah, yeah.
they'll
It's the
just
same thing with
shove you aside,
elephants.
but they
Yeah,
won't attack.
exactly. It's the same thing with all the elephants and all those things. So, like
Uh,
I said, but this one being aggressive by default does mean it's obviously going to be acting a bit more of a boss-based kind
yeah.
of aggro
They
methodology,
also,
which was, and that means it used to be passive by
yeah,
default, which means
yeah,
you could have just walked up to it and admiring its look and its fur and its tusks or whatever have you without getting pummeled in the face.
yeah.
So it's a
Well,
bit of a
you can
shame
do
that
it
they
with the
can't do it
current
anymore.
mammoths.
Yeah, you could,
Yeah,
but not the ice mammoth, obviously.
no.
So
But they also added frost damage and a chance to freeze.
yeah, freeze is going to be interesting because
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
good
gonna
luck.
hit you, you freeze, you can't move out of the way. He's gonna hit you
Yeah,
again a couple of times.
pretty much. Hopefully the chances are relatively low, or else they're going to end up with the same bug as the quartz golem thingy-majigger, but it would roll and then just keep on knocking you backwards
Yeah,
and then just dead.
yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. So
Luckily they changed it to now it
yeah,
pushes you
knock to the side. Yeah,
sideways. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but that's the type of thing. If it just freeze, I'm dead. There was nothing I
Yep.
could do. So
So more work on the
um,
Ice Mammoth missions. Add an extra step to locate storage sites after finding dead prospectors. New step added where you have to fight an Ice Mammoth. Adding new nodes where appropriate. Just research Avery. So they have a encampment. Shift
ooh,
the quest to be in the southern Arctic of Prometheus rather than the northern as it
yeah.
is now on the first quest.
So they added in three variations of growth, death, and death states for a truffle plant.
Let's
A little bit
see.
further down, past the IMO ones. So that's pretty good. So they're going to be
Uh,
introducing truffles, which
Truffles.
should
Yeah,
also be a lot more recipes and things as
I
such,
reckon.
which
Yeah.
is interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And gonna be mention of more new plants.
Yeah, true as well. That's the thing, because it's just the beginning. So I would
Yeah.
imagine more things to sort of come
Well,
of it.
in this future content, there is already mention of
Oh, okay.
more new plants. So
Okay. Hmm.
uh, implemented biofuel fireplace assets. Say no longer burn wood or sticks or fiber in it or coal, but burn biofuel.
Okay, and they changed the exclamation mark bracket x equals y bracket to x exclamation equals y,
Yeah.
which is the
So
one that I would
basically,
usually be using.
yeah,
So x
change the
exclamation y.
not x equals
Yeah,
y to
yeah.
x does not
That's
equal y.
exactly, yeah. But that's the old PowerShell coding basically based upon T-SQL coding. Well, just
Yeah.
general coding, I think, in general. So the exclamation equal operations should be pretty much accepted in general these days. So it's
Yeah, I definitely would have opted for the second variant as well.
yeah, no, of course.
That's how I usually code.
But PowerShell or certain JavaScripts, and I think that's Java actually, are the exclamation equals XXY. So that's I recall something like that. But yeah,
But
that's good that they
so
changed
they
that.
changed from not x equals y to x not
Yeah,
equals
is
y
is
due to the
explicitly
generated
equal.
code not allowing not
Yeah,
equal operations.
I'm wondering if
Right?
they switched it the other way around. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
it,
When I saw this, I was like, huh?
so it's a double, not as
Okay.
equal to, but it's not equal to. It's not
Yeah.
equal to the not equal, obviously. So it's
So
not. It
we
doesn't allow
changed
you to
from
not equal.
variant A to variant B because the code does not allow variant B. So
Exactly,
why
pretty
would you
much.
change to variant B? But
Well, it's future proofing it. It means they have to
eh,
force it. But either way, yeah.
nah, okay.
Um. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Changing the beep on the mines to differentiate more between the beep on one of the handheld devices. So
Yep.
if you're following your friends, you could put like a beep 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 beep, and I was like, oh, there's a mine somewhere, I'm gonna explode. But
Yeah, they're
then
like, is the
obviously,
beeping because I'm using the scanner, the
yeah,
deep ore
or if
scanner, for
it's
example, or is it beeping from a mine which is like right in front of me?
exactly.
Yep.
Let's
Oh, the ape
see.
and the golem spawners now also only can be damaged with pickaxes.
Okay.
Oh, pickaxe and melee attack speed, thus the stringy meat food, are becoming more important. I'm glad I have talents into pickaxe swing speed.
Yeah, I mean, you do have. You've had it for pretty much forever.
Exactly.
But I mean, but technically, if a stringy plus dried stringy buff stacked, I mean, we don't really use stringy in default these days. But it could
I'm still
still have.
using stringy
And
jerky.
but no, we do, but we don't use stringy and stringy jerky. So
No,
stringy
no, no,
meat was
indeed.
original, 15 plus a stringy jerky is 20.
25
But
actually.
the 25, whatever it was. But then obviously that applies to all melee attacks. So you could
Yep.
still be doing that, for, ooh, would that work on the legendary golem stuff as well? Like the gauntlets, bang,
Mm.
bang, 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 bang.
Oh man,
That would be,
that's a good
yeah,
one. That's a very
yeah.
good
Any
one.
of the legendary weapons, for example, yeah, you might go back to it. So to say,
Oh,
because attack speed damage multipliers are different than flat base damage multipliers.
yeah.
They're differently calculated in regards to actual DPS and DPM, depending on certain things. But yeah, that would be a good test.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can
Um,
already test it with using stringy jerky and dried
no, it does
stringy and
stack.
see
It does. It does
how
stack.
quick can
It
I
does.
like
It does. It
hit with a
does.
knife, for example.
It does. And that's with my knife character already. It's like very quick. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't played with him in some time, but the one I built for farming the exotic mission that had the kill the sandworm one. So that I basically did like 7 attacks between the rotations or something. So it was like bang, 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 bang.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's
Now
pretty
if
quick.
you have the iron backpack and you have the
Uh,
electroshock attachment on your knife, man.
yeah, I could,
Oh,
I could probably do even more damage. I
oh
mean, the
yeah.
electro damage is also pretty good damage-wise. It's way
And
better than
there's also
ticking
slow
versus
down
fire.
and damaging and yeah.
Mm,
I
you
like
don't
the
slow down the
electroshock.
bosses obviously, but it does do damage. So
Yep.
it's an extra damage source. So a dot. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna get a new
um,
armor set, Scent armor. Fix
cool.
scanning issue for CHA, MAL, ARM for armor, Scent, chest armor piece. There's actually more mention of Scent armor in the patch notes here.
All right.
So you get a new armor set, like Scent armor. What do I have to like imagine with Scent armor? Like
Or
what?
like desert, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing it could be like a desert variant of the ghillie suit
Yeah,
kind of
but come
stuff.
on, fur
So
armor is made of fur, leather armor is made of leather,
yeah, I
composite armor
know.
is made of composite. Sand
Yes.
armor, what? Am I carrying like bags of sand or something?
Yeah, it could be. Hey, that's not an all. Hey, that's a good strategy. I mean, tanks used to do it. So yeah, it's I don't
Hmm?
know. It probably would be more like a desert camouflage, possibly. That's what I'm imagining. But it's also going to be something that sort of really keeps you cool in the hot sands. I have no idea. It's a desert,
No
so I have no
idea.
idea. So, there's obviously they added an update to the armor stand skeletal meshes. So yet again, indicating that there's going to be armor stands in the future. Um,
Armor bars are now visible if the creature has armor and the player has the talent, or it starts to show health bars.
okay. So you can see the armor as well at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So,
So the rock golem is gonna have armor.
yeah,
So, like on the co-op character, I don't have the talent to show health bar. Well, actually, I think I got it last time. Yeah,
I think you should respect it, yeah,
yeah,
because it is really useful.
definitely. So now we can also see like the armor state
Yeah.
of the enemies. And here, update armor stand SK meshes. Need armor stand. Edit interact on
Um,
armor stand that lets players quick swap their currently equipped armor for what's on the stand.
that was the thing
Nice.
mentioned, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Added the garlic plant, including
Yep.
3 wild variants, 5 growth stages and dead stages, including all FDs. So yet again, that was truffles. This is going to be garlic. They might introduce like onions or other, types of.
Funny that you mention onions.
So
If we go down below, we will
probably
find
would be.
onions
Yeah,
in the list as well.
I would imagine that to be the case. So you would use your generic, condiment or not condiment, your ingredients, which is, we have carrots, so garlic, chili, you know, truffle isn't that commonplace, but onion, all of these things are commonplace, cooking ingredients.
Yep.
You good luck not using an onion in like 70% of the recipes out there. Uh, or garlic, for example.
So
Yeah. So,
also a prickly pear going to
yeah,
be a new
cactus-based.
item as well, food item.
Yeah, yeah, it's cactus-based desert, so it makes sense. Yeah, I see that just below it with the
So
truffle.
we have like
Yeah.
the garlic, the prickly pear is going to be the onion, and what was the first one?
Well, it was truffle
Truffles,
that we saw
truffles.
first one. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So, but it's blah blah blah.
so a lot of
Go.
work on the
A crystal
great
shovel.
hunts.
Updated a
Now,
crystal
crystal
shovel
is all
crafting.
capitals, so I reckon this is a mission name.
Ah, yeah, that could
So
also be the
for
case.
a mission or operation called crystal, you
Uh,
have to
uh,
like craft a
ah,
shovel.
got it. I thought it was going to be an actual like quartz-based shovel,
Now,
which would be shiny.
basically, if it's all capitals, in general, it is a
Mission.
mission name.
That is correct. And then yeah, added sand armor item setups,
Oh,
which is an interesting one. Backpack for sand. That's interesting. You know, you can carry some sand on your back. Makes
I
good sense.
wonder, do you need this backpack for the complete armor set bonus? I mean, it,
Oh,
it is an it
doubt
is
it
an
though.
item. It's not armor though.
Yeah, it is an item, I presume. I would doubt that they would want you to force you to use. It wouldn't make sense that the game would lock you out of using the
Well,
versatility of backpacks in order to gain a set bonus, which is not required by 100% of the other armor pieces.
I think
So
it
no,
might. I mean, they might do it
no,
depending on the
no,
actual set bonus.
no, no,
Like
no,
if the set
no,
bonus would be too OP
no,
otherwise.
no, no, no,
I hope
no,
they won't. Don't get me
no.
wrong.
I highly
But
doubt it. Highly doubt it.
that's
Highly doubt it.
that's like one reason why I.
Unless the set bonus is you can fly through the desert, it's not going to
Yeah,
make it worthwhile of
yeah. I
not
mean,
having
you have to
certain
throw
sets.
away the advantage of the iron backpack or the Lark
It comes
Martinez
with three
tactical
slots.
backpack or
Oh, it comes with no. Like I said, it depends really much on what's inside of it. If the sand backpack has 20 slots, gives you increased running speed in the desert, and allows you to I don't know throw sand at enemies. I don't know what it is, or like then it's obviously going to be a great item on its own. But introducing it or making it a requirement for a set bonus when it's not actually required by any other set in the game, unlikely.
what?
Let's just put it that way.
Um,
Oh, more
Ice
paintings.
Ice Mammoth
Interesting.
2. Foliage and decal painting, you mean?
Yeah, it says decal painting. I would
No,
imagine decal painting
the
being, but
basically a map creation.
oh, map one. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, got it.
foliage
Yeah,
and decal painting, like the little grass you can't actually
yeah,
harvest and stuff. So
got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So adjusting and adding talents for enzyme elixir, now called Luriform Serum, can now be unlocked and account flag is granted during the quest.
Interesting. And
So once again we
enzyme
get a quest which grants you a unique unlock.
talent points. Ah,
Not
nice.
talent
It's
points,
also
but an unlock. Like you have the talents where you unlock
oh
the
for
caveworm
the
bow.
crossbow. Yeah,
You
exactly.
have
Yeah,
the
that's also
talent where you
that's
unlock
actually good.
the scorpion
Yeah,
armor,
no, no,
sandworm
that's true.
armor, the black
No, no.
wolf weapons, etc.
Yes, yes,
This is
yes.
for
That makes
Luriform
sense.
Serum.
Makes sense to be honest, because that was actually something that was actually enjoyable in my opinion. So we had to go run a mission with the character in order to gain the thing. I'm not a fan of account-based or account-wide based unlocks for that.
Well,
I
this is
mean,
like
per
account
character.
flag. So yeah,
Well,
per character.
that's the thing. But that's the thing. But it's an account flag. So that's the thing. I don't really. I
Well,
understand that you have to do certain things with a character in order to gain the bonuses, like it was.
well,
I didn't have a problem with it.
in general, these things are character based, not account based. So you
But
have
they've
to do it
changed
with
things
every
to
character.
account-based these days. They have changed a lot to
Uh,
account-based to kind of make it easier for the normal person. But I think, look, it's not a bad thing to make certain things hard. Okay,
yeah,
it isn't bad.
I still like
There's
the
many
caveworm
cases.
bow. I think I still have to do that one mission with my character in order to actually unlock
For
the caveworm
example,
bow.
yeah,
The exotics spawning though, that is now indeed account based.
Yeah.
No longer
So
character based.
yeah, I mean the mission that we
I
unlock it
can
originally
kinda
is a little
understand
bit of
why.
a
Yeah,
yeah.
you
I mean
don't
that's
have
like a
to do that mission with all characters anymore. Only
yeah.
once per
I
account.
mean
I
I
can.
did that mission quite a few times though.
Yeah, yeah. It was
So
an easy exotics farming.
it was
True.
exactly farming. Yeah, at least whilst the escape
The unstuck
and
option worked.
unstuck
Yeah.
was still working. So yeah. Um, let's take a look.
They are very
Um,
hard working on those Great Hunt missions.
yeah, I mean I would
The
expect so. I
Ice
mean it's
Mammoth
getting
A2
closer.
mission
So
now has heavy storms in the Arctic regions while
yeah.
machines are active. And now has creatures that spawn with the ice mutation modifier whilst machines are active.
Uh,
So an extra incentive to ASAP go shut down the
Wow.
machines. So yeah, let's see. Anything other than
Added
great?
large epic creature spawners at base of enzyme propagation hub to help draw players to that area. And just above it is another one doubling creature spawners to help draw players to that area. This is like, why do you want me to drag me away to a certain area? Um, it's obviously by adding more
Okay, yeah.
creatures. It's like, yeah, usually you're defending something, so if there's more creatures, then that just sort of usually emphasizes the hunkering down
Well,
mentality of just
unless
kill more.
you have to like look for a certain area.
Now, of course, yeah. Oh, then maybe it helps you find it
Yeah,
easier, yeah,
yeah.
quicker. Yeah, that makes
Look
sense,
for
yeah.
the enzyme propagation unit. Basically, follow the
Yeah.
trail of
Of
animals attacking
creatures that are
you
trying to
back to
kill
their
him. Yeah,
base.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Um,
World spawn enzyme dispensers, though, no longer attract animals by default. Ooh, so we get enzyme dispensers. Well, like the enzyme geezers? Or is
I'm
this an
assuming.
other word for enzyme geezer?
Ah,
Enzyme
then,
propagate. Enzyme dis. No, it's an enzyme dispersers
yeah.
versus enzyme propagation units.
Yeah, so they added flowers to the garlic plant, obviously, during those growth stages. And then, yeah, onions with all the growth stages, basically.
Yeah,
Um, And then I'm reading further slightly down that there was an increase to the gargantuan's junior's health. So there
yeah.
is
Don't
that.
make it too easy to kill them, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense as well. I mean,
Added
and then,
landmine VFX for electric and fire, and implemented VFX for all other landmine elements. Yeah, this was mentioned in an earlier patch notes that they were gonna add other types of landmines, not only the explosive one, but also like other
uh,
elemental damage.
and the creature spawners that only take damage from pickaxes now show a pickaxe required icon. So that's
Yeah,
also
so make
something
it
that should help.
clearer for
The,
the players.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, telling them one thing or making it in text in the mission thing is another thing. But when you're put into a thing and you're trying to hit something continuously and you're basically horse blindered, like "Oh, I have to kill this thing. I have to kill. Why am I not killing this thing? You're
yeah,
not reading text. You're not remembering anything. You're just doing something. So putting a big icon that says you can't damage it because you're not using a pickaxe would obviously help.
yeah.
So
Huh. Adding audio for when the ape eats what is given to it in the mission cage. We're gonna have some cages with apes in it, and you can feed them. Cool.
presume that's how the whole bad thing occurred. Is usually people poking animals or monkeys with very questionable content, and therefore ending up in one escaping and then causing a ruckus and then
True,
killing the scientists. That's usually what happens.
true. What goes around comes around and all that.
Yep, yep, yep.
So, just in
Um,
question, you now have to kill 2 enzymes enhanced mammoths that players
cool.
track with the Echo device. Echo
And
device is like the heal device is going to be like yet another radio-ish device which you
yeah,
need to find something. Adding new quest step where players need to kill creatures and obtain their biotags delivered to the drop pod.
mm,
Ensure that whenever the player is asked to craft an Echo device, the quest step grants them the account flag. So you can actually craft this device. There is a heal device which will be unlocked at some point in the null sector.
Mhm.
You cannot unlock it yet. I think I can't craft it on my current character either. I think again it's a character and not account, but we can actually check this because I have done that mission on
Oh,
another
finally,
character. But
landmines now
yep,
stacked to 20.
that's one where I was like, Carl's gonna love this.
Yeah, that one I noticed now. That one I like actually.
Yeah.
So that one is that's a good one. So no more. I mean, 20 is a bit much. I mean, I think I recall landmines actually do weigh quite a bit. But
Still, at
a
least
stack of 10.
you could have brought
Eh,
all the landmines.
yeah, I know, but a stack of 10 would have been sufficient realistically.
Uh,
But hey, I'm not going to complain if they stacked to 20. But yeah, like I said, I think that is a bit of weight. Um, and they're adding
as
lights to
I
the ice mammoth cage and small locations. So yet again, it's probably like a Jurassic Park scenario where they have like, oh, look at this big fluffy animal, and we can inject it full of questionable stuff, and there's in a cage, and then it obviously escapes, and you have to go get them, the enzyme enhanced,
yeah.
mammoths. So it's probably just part of the quest. So just
Uh,
building the background of it. So
Added just as a mission to use beacon and orbital laser instead of an explosive. I do hope they fix the orbital laser that it actually
yeah, for the
shows the
mission.
orbital laser,
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean,
especially when playing on
was there a
dedicated
video that
server.
actually showed it? Because I have
Um,
no idea what it would look like. So
Me neither. Now, I was thinking at some point, I haven't tested it, I kind of forgot. Maybe if you play it in a peer-to-peer session, it will actually show you the orbital laser, and it's not shown because we're playing on a
have you
dedicated server. But
have you seen it on like a YouTube video or something like that? Because I don't know if I'm assuming it's a big bright yellow light coming from the sky down, or like blue
supposed to be,
maybe. I don't
yeah.
know, or red maybe. I don't know.
So
It's
some
like
some beam of light coming from
yeah,
space and like obliterating
exactly.
everything.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. More
Okay.
prickly pear plant changes or thingies.
Update highlightable entry for exotic shards, Hector?
Yeah, I saw
Hmm,
that. Yeah, I was like,
interesting.
exotic shards. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, we have exotic ore. Shards might be things harvested off of certain animals, for example.
I don't
Could be
know,
like an
maybe.
additional resource. So that
Or
does make
something you
some
need to
sense.
craft with exotics,
True. Could also be, you know.
which would be interesting, by the way. Because right now, exotics you just collect it and send it up to
Yeah.
space, and you
True.
use it to
True.
occasionally buy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like you can imagine it like, like obsidian. That's maybe like a crystal-like thing
Yeah.
that you can make
Like
spearheads out
extra
of, or
hard.
yeah,
You mean
it could be,
exotic
yeah.
armor, you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's usually the top tier stuff, or bullets, shooting exotics, which will penetrate certain crystal-like, or I don't know, some sort of genetically modified armor plates. I don't know. There's lots
Like
of things you could
explode
sort of do.
inside the animal and do massive
Yeah,
amounts of
true,
damage.
true. Yeah, true.
Um,
Um,
Question is, by the way, do you want exotics inside an animal? You haven't played much of the null sector yet, so
yeah,
keep that
I'll look.
question in the back of your head when playing
Yeah,
null
that's
sector.
fine.
Also,
Mhm.
the finality mission, which is the last mission in the null sector, is gonna make you wonder how good an idea it is to have like an exotics armor. But okay, sure.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look. Yeah.
Let's see. More work on Elysium. New dialogue lines for ape missions. Move key bind elements to the left side of mission objectives widget
Ah,
instead of right. Key bind element? I
yeah.
don't know.
But they added foliage types and blueprints for wild Kumara
Yeah, I
plants.
saw that as well. Yeah, like are we finally gonna get a Kumara growing in the wild?
Now, I'm not sure what a Kumara was again.
It is a plant you can buy from the workshop. It is an ingredient in some of the more elaborate foods.
Oh, okay.
So I was also looking at electric chimney to stop and start when the fireplace is on, and half height chimneys to buy from an electric fireplaces. So more fireplace slash chimney
Mhm.
building pieces, and to stop and start when the fireplace is on. This is
Mhm.
gonna be interesting. See what it's gonna be, but
Yep, and they fixed an issue with the T2 armor stand, where backpack wasn't being equipped correctly. So perhaps T1 is only armor, and then T2 includes the backpack, which is interesting. I don't like the
well,
idea of that.
tier 2 means it is built in a bench unlocked at tier 2. So, crafting bench, the basic textiles bench, etc. etc. So, tier
Yeah,
2
true.
armor
But
stand for me is an armor stand you make in a tier 2 base, in tier 2 bench.
well, I would imagine that it's actually a different armor stand because, or else why would you call it T2? It doesn't really matter where you craft it.
Tier
You can,
2
if
is
it's,
because you can, it's only unlocked in tier 2. You can
it could
craft
be,
it in a tier
could
2
be.
or higher
Could
bench.
be. Or maybe there's a T1 armor stand and then there's a T2 armor stand.
Well,
I
tier
don't know.
1 armor stand would be an armor stand you craft in your inventory, like character crafted.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Okay.
If there's a
I
tier
thought
tier
T2 would have
1
been.
item, it is character crafted. Tier 2 and higher is crafted on benches,
Ah,
basically.
okay, got it, got it, got it, got it.
Halved additional health added to den spawners based on difficulty level. So it has base health, and then based on with how many players you play and the difficulty level of your prospect, it adds additional health, which apparently was a bit too much. They halved the additional health. Okay.
And they added or are adding neurotoxin, Vesper cage, and virus items, as well as associated recipes, icons, stats, and alterations. And the neurotoxin tells me that maybe
Let
you could
me.
sort of
That one.
that's like that's interesting because we don't really have like weapons like arrow bolts
Well,
dipped in neurotoxin or dipped in some sort of poison that actually I mean you can make fire arrows and you can make I think you can make poison arrows I think but a neurotoxin would obviously be like oh it has a chance to immobilize and I know that you actually get the workshop items that have that but maybe you could actually craft you know either bullets or weapons or like
well,
ammunition to
you have to
basically
read
do
this
it.
in conjunction with the bullet point above. It's the same mission. Ice
Ah,
Mammoth
oh
02.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
A
Okay, it'll be
reworking
part of
mission,
the
so
yeah.
you find and capture a Fester, you perform experiments on it, and then you release it back into the wild.
And they're obviously going to catch it using a neurotoxin so that it's
Maybe,
basically
yeah,
immobilized and then catch it kind of thing. Makes sense.
yeah.
Uh,
And then Vesper Cage, you need to keep it somewhere whilst you do your
yeah,
experiments and stuff.
pretty much.
So, in short,
Uh,
anytime we ask the player to craft a medical device, we grant the account flag to all players. Not only the one which is, I don't know, the
ah,
host or something, but basically
probably
all the
yeah.
players.
Mm,
And I think that's about
yep,
it.
pretty much.
Some more work about the drill arrows.
Meh.
Like they did some audio changes to it, etc. Drill arrows apparently shoot it at a rock and it'll give you a stone or something. I
Could
wonder,
also
I
be armor
wonder,
piercing.
the quarrites, right? Stone
Yeah,
golem. If
yeah,
they have their armor on,
yeah.
they're like impervious to pierce
Normal
damage,
damage. Yeah,
projectile
normal
damage.
damage.
Maybe use drill arrows on them.
Well, that was the thing. That's what I was expecting. So.
Eh, would be interesting. But yeah, those were the patch notes for this week. I'd say take about a 15 minutes break. Come back quarter two for the gameplay.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, I'm gonna do the stream outro and I'll be back in a sec. Let's just see if I can find the Discord still. Where's my Discord window? Nah, anyway. So, these were the patch notes for this week. I hope you folks enjoyed watching us play, and if you did enjoy watching us play, stream. If you did enjoy the streaming and want to get notified next time I stream, feel free to hit that follow button, or if you watch this on YouTube and you want to get notified next time I upload something, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Other than that, thanks for being here. I hope you had a good time. I hope I see you folks around in about 13 minutes.